all the unique characters,
I do let him bang. Yeah, I'm a legend, man. I'm building my legacy.
all the stories and perspectives featured weekly.
I wasn't fully committed to that choke, and I kind of sunk into it, started squeezing tighter, and I kind of heard him gurgle a little bit. I was like, oh.
And all the combat sports you could ask for in the best state in the U.S.
Like I said, Ohio versus the world. It's going to happen for sure. Watch out.
It'll be cool, man. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to show them why the Ohio MMA scene is, in my opinion, one of the best MMA scenes in the country.
This is Forged in OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 121 of Forged in Ohio. My name is Jake Murren, and I'm the host of the podcast. When I started to think of ways to describe the fighter that's joining me on the show today, the word that just kept coming to mind over and over again was dangerous. This man is as dangerous as it gets in the Ohio MMA scene, and that was on full display at Ohio Combat League 39 when he won his pro debut via first round knockout. I'm of course talking about Hunter Fatality Frazer. Thanks for coming on the show, Hunter, and welcome to Forged in Ohio.
Thanks for having me, buddy. It's been a long time coming, definitely.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming on the show. How are you feeling, just a few weeks removed from making your pro MMA debut?
Oh, I feel good, man. I feel fucking great. I didn't take any damage. It was quick, no injuries. So looking for something coming up soon again. We're looking for something in the next couple months. There's a couple avenues we're looking at. So yeah, just staying active, man. Trying to get the most out of the time that we got.
Is that how you expected the debut to go, with your hand raised after only 47 seconds of fighting?
You know what? As much as I always want to turn that switch off, I can settle into fights, but I like getting it done, and plus you're not paid by the hour, you're there to get it done. So, I came in with the mentality that I was prepared to be there for the full amount of time. And, but just, I saw the opportunity and got it done. So yeah, man, I was happy with the outcome. The week before my fight, I was going around the gym and I was like, I'm telling you guys, first round, like I feel it, first round, I said, give me 2 minutes. Took 47 seconds. So.
Is that a common thing for you in your career, having that feeling that it will be a first round knockout? I mean, obviously in your career, you're getting these fights finished very quickly, but is that a normal thing, you just to have that kind of feeling that does come to fruition?
Yeah. I want to. I can't stop it. I want to get you out of there in the first round. That's my goal. But at the same time, I'm always going to prepare to be there, to weather the storm. And, I can't wait to go, a full 3 or 5 round fights, just a straight up war. Cause that's what I'm here for. But it's, sometimes they don't always last that long.
Yeah, the opponent's got to match that too, man, to your point. We'll talk about your amateur career here in a moment, but you won both your amateur and pro debuts exactly 47 seconds into the first round. Just how crazy is that kind of coincidence to you?
Yeah, it's crazy. So it wasn't even until a couple days after my pro debut, because I kept on getting different times and, it was a minute in or this and that. But once I figured out, I was like, dang, it was actually 47 seconds, like the same time as the other one. And yeah, I guess it's my lucky number, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say so. So just how much does that win mean to you overall? Just now being able to call yourself an undefeated professional athlete.
It felt good, man. It feels good afterwards. It has me more focused than I've ever been. Before where it was like, hey, I like to fight. I want to be here. This is a dream of mine. And then it kind of hit me when I was walking off that stage about to get in the cage on my pro debut. And I'm like, damn, I'm here now, So after that win, it was just, it was focus that came in. I was like, all right, on to the next one. I'm not where I want to be. This isn't the final destination. This is just the beginning of it. So yeah, man, it just has me hungry. It has me ready. And just, like I said, I just want to stay active and fight as much as I can and take it as far as I can. So Yeah, man, I'm hyped. I can say I'm an undefeated professional fighter. Even though it's 1-0, it's like shit. I can still say it.
Yeah, I love that, man. So did anything feel different with it being your pro debut? Obviously, you're getting paid. You can throw different strikes in the cage as a pro compared to an amateur here in Ohio. But even in camp and leading up to the fight, did it feel like there was maybe more on the line or more intensity, more focus, to your point, with it being your pro debut?
I felt calmer going into it. I felt just I don't know. I felt like that's where I'm supposed to be. I want these longer rounds. I want the different competition. I want it to be at a higher level. So I felt it was satisfying, to be there and be like, this is everything that I wanted. But it wasn't. I don't know, man. It wasn't. I even said when I got done with that fight, usually I'm super hyped up. And, I'm going at it. But after this last one, I was just like, it was like accomplishment, but it was calming. It's weird. It's weird to explain it. I've talked to people about it since then. I'm like, gosh, it's like where you get those rush and those dumps in amateurs. I'm like, once I got in a pro, I was like, I feel home. I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, this is the next chapter and I'm ready for it.
You turned pro after a short 3-fight amateur career. You went 2-1 with 2 big knockout wins, but why only 3 fights before moving to the pro ranks?
So I had some amateur boxing and done some jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff, and I've been training for so many years. I've been training since 2017 is when I started boxing, and then I got with Roger Bowling in 2021, and I've been with him ever since. So, but then I dealt with like little injuries, and I just had a lot going on in life. But I have consistently trained for all these years, and been, in these camps with these guys that were in UFC and Bellator and training with all these high level guys and putting in just as much time, if not more, than some of the pro fighters that I was training with. So, Roger even said that going into my first fight. He's like, like, you're not a first fight amateur. Like, this is, you're starting out as an amateur, but you're a veteran in fighting. Now, I've been fighting my whole life. It's just, it's always been a thing. Whether for positive or negative reasons, it's always been a thing. So, yeah, we felt it was right. We weren't getting the fights that we wanted in amateur. It was hard for us to get people locked in. As you guys know, in my last at OCL 30, it was supposed to be the last one in May 17th in Newport that they had when Elijah Woodruff made his pro debut. I was supposed to be on that card, and my opponent pulled out the day before the fight. So as I was about to go to weigh-ins, Higdon texted me, and he was like, hey, man, he's out, he's done. So that was heartbreaking. And then I was helping corner Elijah Woodruff, so I had to sit there, and I was in the back with him while he was warming up, and I was just all around, and I was like, man, I should be here. I should be fighting tonight. So, yeah, man. So we were like, you know what? Let's see what we can do at pro. And we talked to the promotion, and we were like, we just felt it was the right move. A lot of those nerves that people usually shake out in amateurs, we felt like I was past that. We train a lot. We've been on a professional training level, and Roger's always had this vision, of taking it to the next level with me. So we just felt it was ready. So we made the jump, and now we're here. No going back.
Yeah, and it was one hell of a 3-fight stretch as an amateur, with your longest fight going 1 minute, 28 seconds into the second round. Just what's your favorite memory, or what sticks out most from your time as an amateur fighter?
So I grew the most from that fight with Noah Starowitz, the one in Newport, the loss that I took, because he was that's a tough dude, and his skill level, we knew that going into it, that his skill level was up there, and he was a tough fight, and my ground game at that time was not what it should have been. And there were some close moments where I had knocked him down, where it got pretty close. And then I gassed out in the second round, man, and he kind of mounted me on my side. And it was like when he was hitting me, he was just cracking me like right behind my head. And I remember every time it was like I was resetting in my brain on what to do. And then they stopped it. But I was like, yeah, you know what? Those are the ones you learn the most from. And we also knew that we weren't going to get many fights around here as an amateur that were going to stand up to the amount of skill level that I faced with him, you know, because he's gone on to do bigger things and going on to bigger shows and stuff. But yeah, it's just all the fights that we were getting just weren't it. But yeah, that was probably my favorite fight. And then the one in Columbus, or the one in Newark, where I fought Dylan Zartman. That was a fun one because I remember just feeling mean, man. It was just, I was going through stuff in my life and I just felt like I was evolving, coming out of this, you know, little just dark area I was in. And I was like, you know what, like I'm getting fully locked in. And yeah, I remember going up there and I just felt ready. I felt mean the whole entire time. And then after we got it done, I was like, yeah, you know, we got to keep this going. And I love fighting for OCL too, because they're a good promotion. They put so much into it. They've always been so cool to me and my whole team. You know, and their production, man, their production is insane. You know what I mean? All the people they got, their camera guys, their visual guys, are just nuts. So, yeah, and then we had gotten some offers from some other, you know, smaller promotions here and there, but we're trying to be selective on not just taking, you know, a stupid amount of fights just to get little paychecks. You know what I mean?
You touched on something really interesting there about just taking on skilled opponents and making sure that you kind of are leveling up, because I'm sure, you know, you go 2-1 as an amateur. I'm sure you could have gone 8-1, maybe got 2 amateur titles, but maybe you're not taking on the competition that's really going to grow your game. Just how important is that, really making sure you're stepping up and leveling up as you continue in your career?
Yeah. Well, with us wanting to not just be regular local professional fighters, we know that once we get into those other promotions, like, you know, you're going to go up. They want to give you the toughest fights you can. You know, they want to put on the best shows. So we're just preparing for that. And I can say that my training has been more intense than probably any of my fights have. And I tell you, you know, Roger is just an absolute savage, and Roger Bowling, and then yeah, you know, I feel like my training is super hard. Train hard, fight easy. You know, so that's how it's been. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Talking with Hunter Fatality Frazer here on Forged in Ohio. So we had to start with a win in your pro debut, but I also want to learn a little bit about your background and start in mixed martial arts. Just how did you first get involved in combat sports?
All right, look, this is a crazy story. So when I was 21, I ended up getting sent away to prison. Right, I got sentenced to a 6-year prison term. Me and a couple of my buddies went to go try and rob a weed dealer, and one of my buddies ended up losing his life. Right, and since I was the driver of the car, they hit me with his murder. Hit me and one of my other buddies. So I ended up getting a 6-year sentence. Getting sent away, man. I just got wrapped up in dumb shit when I was there. I was just a hurt ass person, you know, away. And it took me a few years, and then I snapped out of it. And I was like, you know what? Like, I got 2 daughters at home, and I want to, you know, I'm starting to see the light at the end of this tunnel. And I, you know, want to be the best version of myself. And, you know, just fights in there and stuff. You know, you don't always get the fairest fights. And I remember I was in there with a guy named Dale Crow. Now, he was a pro boxer from Cincinnati. And I remember I approached him and I was like, man, I want to learn how to fight. And for a while he wouldn't teach me because he thought I was going to use it for the wrong stuff, you know? And then I really started to get into working out and fitness because I haven't always been, definitely not. This happened like a few years into my sentence when I got into it. And he started training me on the mitts. I actually got a pair of mitts that the laundry guy at Chillicothe Correctional made us, and we would go hit mitts 3 times a week for an hour. We had the room. We would do 5-minute rounds, 1-minute break, and Dale's awesome, but he is also not a boxing coach. You know, he's just got that grittiness to him. So when he saw my dedication in there, he actually hooked me up with his boxing coach, who was Rob Radford. So they were all part of Rich Franklin's, you know, training team. So I trained with Rob for about 5 months after I got out. I went to Rob, and that's how I met Roger and TJ Ball and a lot of the guys that, oversee my training right now. That's how I met them. And once it was like, okay, it's time for your Muay Thai to evolve, let's really get your kicks and everything in there. So Rob Radford sent me to Neil Rowe, another part of the, Rich Franklin team. So that's why I've been out of Saikin. So I train at Saikin in Westchester. That's just right down the street from me, from where I live. So I train there a lot, and that's where my Muay Thai comes from. But most of my training for MMA is all with Roger and Team Relentless. So that's how I got into it, man. And I remember I always knew that I was never going to have a regular job for the rest of my life. I always knew that I wanted to do something and just put all my eggs in a basket and just go for it and, try to leave some type of legacy. And I feel like, fighting has always been a part of my life, and it's always brought so much negativity, in the past, that it's like, now, man, maybe all that is starting to pay off, and maybe, I can use it to bring positivity to people and other people, around me. So yeah, it's a crazy story, but it all kind of was like forged in fire. You know what I mean? Shit, that's how it was actually forged in Ohio. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So you know what? If I'm starting to be more proud of it, and starting over the past year, I'm starting to see how sometimes you go through these tests in life only to come out better. And that's kind of what I'm seeing now. I'm like, oh, I'm thankful, because the life that I live now, most people would trade 6 years of their life for it. You know what I mean? And just the amount of fulfillment I have in my life, and how happy I am, and just where I feel like my career is going.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective to have on things. And that's a wild story, obviously. When did that kind of switch happen in your head, when fighting was such a negative thing and then it started to become positive? Was there like a moment in time where that transition and mindset actually happened?
It was, and it was when I was in prison. It was just, through fighting and being in shit in there, man. I mean, I've had my eye socket, I had my orbital broke. But, I've just been cut. Those are getting into some nasty fights in there. And I was just like, this isn't the fucking life I want. And, I don't want to do this to other people. I mean, not at least people who don't want it. If you want to get into a cage with me and do it, then that's one thing. But it started to, close in, where I'm like, this isn't the life that I want. This doesn't make me happy. When it did make me happy, I was just a pissed off kid. And now I felt like I was shedding that. And really, when I started to get into working out, because I was never big or strong. I was always smaller. I never worked out. I was never athletic until, my late 20s. And then it's just like it all flipped around, and I stopped smoking cigarettes. I, stopped just doing unhealthy stuff and getting locked in. And yeah, I feel like that's what made me chase it more. I just fell in love with like a healthier lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Do you think about where you'd be without fighting, or if you didn't go down that path when it sounds like you almost needed it most?
I'd probably be lost, man. I can't even tell you. There's probably many different routes that it could have took. Maybe some that wouldn't have landed me alive, or ones that wouldn't have landed me free, in the world today. I'm not really sure, but I feel like this was definitely that's like those one in a millions, you know what I mean? And it's like, I got that one in a million, and here I am. It's like all the other routes that this could have gone has just, it's became a thing of the past. And now I'm just locked in on what it is and what came of it.
Was there a moment, I guess, early on when you first started getting involved in mixed martial arts and training, and everything did sort of click? Obviously, it was a negative turned into a positive, but when did you realize that you could actually turn this into a career?
I always wanted to. I always saw a vision for it. But it wasn't until probably after my debut in MMA. I can't say I felt it. I still felt, just new to it. So I'd say after my Dylan Zartman fight, after the one in Newark, I was always going to chase it anyway. But when I really started to feel the confidence, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I remember going into that fight feeling comfortable, and my nerves were a little bit different, even though that was still in amateurs. And that's where I was like, oh, I love this life. This is the life I want. I want to wake up and train and take it serious, and fight and travel, and just everything that comes along with fight. Fighting is such like a small part The actual fight, it's like it lasts 47 seconds. I mean, all the hours of training, all everything, and it's 47 seconds. So I feel like to be a fighter, you have to love the process, that grit, the grind, the brotherhood that you're going to build with your training partners, just the ups and downs. You know what I mean? I feel like it's the losses that I took that made me appreciate the wins, and it just makes them feel so much better, And I'm sure there'll be others. There's always losses in life that you're going to take. So I'll be ready for those when they come, and then I'll be looking for the sunshine afterwards.
What do you enjoy and love most about fighting?
Well, I love to fight. I can say that, man. I love just to fight and just that raw form. Like 300 years ago, I'd have been in a fucking coliseum. I feel like, fighting a lion. Like that's just the type of person I am. So I love just that raw, me versus you. But it's also, like I said, just the training, that stuff keeps me level. The training of fighting and being in fight camp and having something to look forward to. I mean, it's like a vacation, and it keeps me locked in. And then a fight is over, and then it's like, I remember a couple days after my fight, I was like, I'm fucking lost. Like, I got to get a contract signed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have anything to look forward to now. You know, and I always feel like, I got two daughters and a wife, and I always feel like I'm my most locked in version when I'm preparing for battle. You know what I mean? I don't know where that comes from, but I feel like when I'm about to walk into a dangerous situation, that's when I am my most, level, just my best version of a dad, of a father, dad and father, same thing, fucking husband, you know, friend. I just always feel my best when I'm in that preparation phase.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've heard many fighters compare a fight to a vacation before, so I absolutely love that. Once again, this is Hunter Fatality Frazer here on Forged in Ohio. You've got a great team behind you. You mentioned your gym here in Westchester, and of course, training at Team Relentless with Roger Bowling. Just how instrumental have the people around you been in getting you to where you are now?
I can say that Roger has been the most vital person ever. He is always just, I guess, seen something in me. He wasn't really training. He wasn't training people or really involved with MMA when I had asked him to start training with me. I'd reached out to him, and he had came in to help me at Rob Bradford's boxing gym. And ever since then, it's just, like that dude's just a brother to me. You know what I mean? No pot of gold at the end. He truly just wants to see me win. I could tell him and TJ Ball, who was along with him his whole UFC career. And it's like, I know I got my back. It's whenever I walk out into a fight, I know like these dudes have my best interest. You know what I mean? What they are trying to put together is because they want to see me successful in this, and I feel like just having that and just the push and the whole time on fight days, I walk past Roger and he's smacking me and he's like, "This is your fucking day, baby. This is your fucking day. Ain't nobody taking shit." So that's just kind of the mentality that he gives me. And it's like, it just matched up so well because there's a lot of people who I feel like would train with Roger and they'd be like, "This dude's fucking nuts. I'm not coming back here." You know what I mean? He has a one of a kind style and it just matched up with mine so fucking well. So yeah. He's been vital, but so is everybody else. I've got Elijah Woodruff and Sky Gooden, George Nichols. They are always out at Sakin with me. We get together for training. Then I got Jamon Spiller and Alex Burkett, TJ Ball, all them that are over at Rogers, and it's just the perfect mixture of what I needed.
As we talked about, the pro debut only took you 47 seconds. Does that mean that we can expect to see you back in there sooner rather than later?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We're looking at some dates in October. So that's hopefully what we're shooting for. Anything can happen, but absolutely before the end of the year. And if that one can go the same way as the last one, then maybe even a second time again, before the end of the year. Because I want to stay active. I haven't left fight camp since before the Dylan Zartman fight. I've constantly been training. I was training the day after my last fight, so yeah, just keep the ball rolling.
Maybe it is staying active, but what is your biggest priority right now as you try and build upon that win in your pro debut?
Um, I don't know, recognition. You know what I mean? I just want to get my name out there and build it up, and then just obviously want to pick the right fights for me. I want to stay around the people that I know have my best interest. Because since the fight, I've had a handful of promotions reach out to me, and it's just like just being selective. I want to be smart. I'm trying to look at this like a business as well. It's a career. It's what I'm trying to make it. So.
I did the math, and you have about 6 minutes, 56 seconds of total cage time as a 1-0 pro fighter. Do you feel like you need to have more cage time and experience that way, or are you more than happy just to get these fights done in the first round?
Oh, I mean, I'll get it done in the first round, every time I can, but I'm not opposed to it. Yeah, I mean, we train to be there through it. Our training sessions are not, quick. They are gritty, they are fucking tough. So it's like, it's suffering. Suffering, definitely in Roger's basement, where he changed with Team Relentless. He's got it all set up, and it's just, yeah. So we're prepared to go for all this. And I would love a war. I would love, if you can stand there and you can weather the storm and do the stuff, back to me that I'm doing to you, like, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm here for it. I'll take the hits. I love it. My coaches have had to pull me back from that. Like, you're going to fuck yourself up. You got to chill out. Like, you need to save these tough fights for the higher level where you're wanting to get in these exchanges and fucking exchange brain cells. You know what I mean? For punches. So, but yeah, I love it, man. That's, like I said, I'll stand there in the pocket all day. Maybe it's not the smartest for a fight career, but out of love, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch other great fights, other wars out there, like even Josiah Harrell in the main event of Ohio Combat League 39, right? Like when you watch fights like that, are you like, man, I want to have one of those one day? Or you're like, you know what? I'm happy with my 47-second knockout over here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what I want because I want to showcase more of my skills too. But I don't want to ease up in the beginning, just to try and show off my striking or, my stuff a little bit. Like, no, I'm going to try and get you out of there. But if you can stand it, then yes, because I saw that fight and both of those dudes are fucking dogs. That was a savage fight. Like, man, can I get a fight where I'm just coming out at the end with my hand raised, but just all fucking Josiah was all cut up, it's flowed up. I'm like, man, like you grow from that shit. You really do, you leave there a different fighter. And I'm like, yes, I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought of, like, because you have such little cage time, you haven't really been able to show your full game out there. Just how much of Hunter Frazer have we not seen yet?
My striking, even with the people I train with, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the greatest here, but my striking is, advanced. Definitely is. I got good striking. We've really worked on my grappling. So I feel like we haven't been able to see all my craftiness in Muay Thai, or boxing either. I got some good boxing, and even my grappling has came a long way. Definitely came a long way. So we're getting the submissions in, we're getting positions, we're training all that, and it just hasn't gone there in a fight. But I can't wait till it does. Yeah, and I've even said every time after I fight, I'm like, man, like I didn't get to show off none of my good stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't get to show off anything. Like, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, is that something that you go into a fight almost like with the game plan of, hey, I do kind of want to show my ground game, maybe wrap up a submission if I can, or do you go in there just knowing, hey, my bread and butter is on the feet with the striking, and let's get out of there quick?
But before, yes. Now it's like I'm more comfortable. It's to the point where I'm willing to go to the ground. But we also knew that my last opponent, his bread and butter was his hands. Also, he's a boxer. So, yeah, my game plan. We had a game plan to come out and start attacking that leg, and then everything pretty much until we went to the ground was part of game plan with locking him up and getting him with those knees. That was drilled over and over and over. So I feel like we stuck to the game plan, And then when it went to the ground, it was just finished. And I saw the ref was about to stop it. So I'm like, all right, we're getting out of here early tonight.
Looking at your career, just big picture wise, what are you trying to achieve as a mixed martial artist?
I want to build definitely a legacy, just all around for me and my family. I want to be remembered as something different than what I've probably been remembered for in the past. You know what I mean? When I was a different version of me. And it's like, I see the way that my kids look at me, and I see the way that my wife looks at me and my team members look at me. And it's like, I just feel I play a different role in other people's lives than what I used to. And I'm like, I feel like I got them on my back too. You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to be successful. I want to take this as far as I can. I wouldn't take all this time away from my family and my wife and everyone if I didn't feel like there was something greater at the end. It's not like I'm just trying to get off to hurting people. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely a career out of it. And yeah, longevity, as much time as we got. I'm 33. I'm in the best condition I've ever been in my life, but I'm 33. So we understand that, we don't got 20 years, so we're trying to get the most out of what we can with the time that we got and train smart. And yeah, man, go in there and just build up a resume of fights. I mean, our goal is everyone else's goal. We want to be in the UFC. We want to fight in the UFC. We want to go to, PFL or something. Like, we want to be somewhere bigger. So that's what we're chasing.
Yeah, I love asking fighters about what motivates them. And a lot of the times it's, internal, just wanting to be the best version of themselves they possibly can be. But for you, it maybe goes deeper than that, just your family. And I love how you described how they look at you. Is that your primary, source of motivation there?
Yeah. Feeling like I gotta be feeling like I have to be a rock, and knowing that I'm built to be that rock in people's lives, But I see the way that like I said, my kids and just, Roger's always told me, you're a leader for this team and this and that, and then, it just, when you got other people relying on you or other people looking at you, you're like, I'm gonna hold it the fuck down for everybody. So yeah, it runs deep. I feel like it's beyond just I can't let myself down, Yeah. Especially with my kids, man. Especially with them. Especially them and my wife. We're pushing. We're gonna get that better life. Definitely.
I have to ask about the tattoos before I get you out of here. Do you know how many you have, and do you have a favorite one?
Man, I got a lot of them. I've recently started my one of my sponsors is from Unique Ink. Her name is Mel. Her tattoo shop sponsors me, so we've been working on some fight stuff. This leg is starting to mean a lot to me, man. It's got the Relentless for Team Relentless. Got my Muay Thai guy the other day. I got a Muay Thai and Thai script on my cheek. I got a bunch of runes, man. Some lightning. I got Fatality up here in white. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Favorite. I've actually always liked this one. This laurel wreath. This victory wreath on my cheek. But yeah, man. There's a lot of them. I don't have a number, but I've been tattooed over 100 times for sure. Whether it's small or big. But the older I get, they hurt.
Yeah.
They hurt. They hurt bad. Yeah.
I bet they do. Is like the end goal to have a bodysuit? I mean, you're obviously already covered, but
yeah, man, I already knew. I remember I was like 5 years old, man, and I was walking through Kings Island, and I remember seeing this just big jack dude covered in fucking tattoos. At this time, this is in the 90s, only dude there covered in tattoos, and I'm like, huh. I want to be like that someday. You know what I mean? That's how I want to look, Not even just the big part, just the covered in tattoos. So I was like, yeah, it's always been something that I knew I'd get to. But yeah, definitely full coverage. Probably gonna leave the face alone for the most part. We got a couple other ones we might throw in there, but other than that, we're just gonna work on the body.
I love it, man. Well, before we wrap up, I just want to give you the chance to shout anything out here, promote your sponsors. The floor is yours, man.
Yes, man. I want to shout out to all my sponsors. I got, like I said, Unique Ink. Go holler at them. They're local. We got Brian Petrie from the MMA Takes podcast, and he's also on the Anik and Florian podcast. He's been a sponsor of mine. Die Dreaming Apparel in Cincinnati. Go check them out. Ed's Party Bus for any of your transportation stuff. Sebastian's Grooming Co. Haircuts, anything you need. Lashy Lou Aesthetics. Need anything done, it's my wife's business. Anything esthetician related, holler at her. Yeah, man, let me think. Am I fucking missing any other sponsors? Am I missing anybody? Let me check I get my little stickers made, man. I get these and I put them up all around Cincinnati and Dayton. So I got I got them all. Takedown shop. Go Hunter1 is the code. Get your shorts, get a discount on them. Seiken Martial Arts, Team Relentless, and Gorilla Mode AJJ with Alex Burkett, and that's all of them. Yeah, shout out to OCL for always putting on a good show, and you guys for having me on here, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you for coming on and joining the show. I know this has been a long time coming, and I always like to end these chats by doing the OHIO chant with my guests. So if you could give me an IO here.
IO!
Thanks, Hunter. I appreciate the time. Congrats again on the win in your pro debut, and I can't wait to see what you do next, man.
Absolutely. Let's get it done. All right, buddy.
That was Hunter Fatality Frazer, the 1-0 professional mixed martial artist. We recently surpassed 10,000 downloads for the podcast, a milestone that I really didn't think we'd ever reach. So thank you all for your continued support. Make sure you keep downloading episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you prefer to watch the show. You can also check us out at Forged in Ohio on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Thanks again to Hunter Frazer, and thanks to all of you for watching or listening to this episode. I've been your host, Jake Murren, and this was Forged in Ohio.